I'm Glenn Adamson, and I'm the guest curator for Beazley Designs of the Year 2017. Beazley Designs of the Year is an annual prize and exhibition that recognizes the best, newest, and most significant designs worldwide. The exhibition is all about looking ahead, but it's the 10th anniversary this year, and it's a great opportunity for us to look back at design, and of course it looks very different in the rearview mirror.
In 10 years, there have been so many projects which have been inspiring, exciting, challenging, in some cases beautiful. There was the very memorable Shepard Fairey poster for Obama.
In the year that I sat on the jury for the Design of the Year award, the human organ on a chip won. It will allow us to more closely replicate human cells. The potential of it is enormous. I think it was a great candidate because there's a certain extravagance and formalism attached to the word design, whereas this particular case, it was almost an invisible object.
If you're talking about the outstanding designs of the 21st century so far, the iPhone has to be one of the standout products. The iPhone was launched and changed the game of mobile telephony and changed all of our behaviours.
Of course, we did make a howling error. The iPhone was not the design of the year in the year which it was launched. The One Laptop per Child project got the top award. A very worthy and worthwhile idea that you could actually deal with illiteracy and the disadvantages of the third world by making laptops cheap and available was a bold idea, but of course, in the end, it was the smartphone that won everywhere.
It did genuinely feel like a potential game changer, but for various reasons it didn't then fulfill its promise. But I guess at the time it at least symbolized a desire to change. Another example is the Better shelter, the IKEA refugee shelter, which has the potential to revolutionize the way that refugees are housed, but as it turns out has lots of flaws, which means that they're not actually being used to their full capacity. But what do? You just go back to the drawing board, you improve, you iterate, someone else steals the idea. So I would imagine that better housing for refugees will emerge from the fact that somebody put themselves on the line and made a stab at it.
Design is a funny thing. Sometimes it has its biggest impact in places you don't quite see it. And it can be very difficult to know in advance what's going to have the real effect. The impact, for example, of 3D printing, which was very exciting when it first emerged, that in some ways seems to still not have had the transformative effect that one might have expected. Whereas on the other hand, you think about something like shipping containers, which of course have been around for a long time, but they've become more and more and more pervasive. And in a way that maybe a lot of people don't quite notice, they totally transform the way that we live.
It brought in its train a complete transformation of every port city in the world that had an upstream dock because it made them redundant and unusable. So you could say the shipping container produced Canary Wharf, London's business district. You could also say that it actually made the Chinese economy possible.
A lot of the things that are truly transformative are invisible these days. They're digital, they're in the ether. There is no thingness to them. So it's very easy to miss the importance of service design and apps and new ways of encrypting things. Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies may well change the way that all financial transactions are made. So a lot of the things that should be counted as good design can never be put on a plinth in a design museum or published in a design magazine.
I think design has every power to bring forth change of different scales. The internet has had an amazingly global scale of change, but I think there are smaller scale changes that can really transform the way we live our everyday lives.